The following is a presentation of LSPN, your home for Lenawee sports.
And we're so glad you could join us as LSPN and the Michigan High School Athletic Association welcome you to Erie Township in this Class C District Championship, where tonight the 10-12 Erie-Mason Eagles take on the 21-1 Blissfield Royals. Good evening. I'm Dustin Kress with Dan Empson.
How you doing, Dustin?
I'm good. How are you?
This is an awesome environment here. We've had a chance to get set up, and I love how Erie has got this classic feel. This is actually the last time that we're going to play on this floor and in these stands. I think they might have been here since 1961. And so it's great to see this field that they've got here, and a great opportunity for Blissfield to take home the district championship.
Sort of like a Hoosiers feel to this gym from the old days, but a really classic matchup tonight. These two teams have played each other twice already this season, so it'll be interesting to see if Mason has anything for Blissfield tonight.
And that'll be interesting to see because Mason, with the way that they play, they don't score a ton of points. They're not even averaging 40 a game right now. They've got a couple scorers. They're more about a 3 or 4 person team, even though they've got 12, 13 on their team. They got 3 or 4 that are their main scorers and their main push, but they're led by a freshman, so that should be interesting to see how she holds composure in a district championship game.
And Blissfield's going to be tested tonight. They're down a player, so they only have 8 people on the floor for the Royals this evening. Going to be interesting to see if they can keep their composure and sort of stay out there and stay, balanced and keep their, what's the word I'm looking for? Composure all night.
I hope you can keep yours as well.
Absolutely.
But let's talk to Wallen, who's got our head coach for the Erie-Mason Eagles, see if they can keep their composure. Wallen?
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Erie-Mason's head coach, Coach Perrin. I know you've seen Blissfield twice before. Can you tell me what you've learned from those experiences?
They're a very good basketball team. They put a ton of pressure on the basketball. Our big thing tonight is we have to be patient, handle the pressure to be successful tonight.
And I know this is a district championship game. What are the women, the ladies' mindsets right now? What are they thinking? What have you told them?
I told them live in the minute here, live for the moment. You don't get this experience very often, and just enjoy it and have fun tonight. So.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck tonight.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Wallen. We appreciate that. We will be back in 1 minute. You are watching high school varsity basketball on LSPN, your home for Lenawee sports.
Good. Blissfield.
As the voice of Michigan student athletes, the Student Advisory Council's role
is to convey the message of how high school sports are supposed to be played. We are responsible for helping the MHSAA maintain a positive and healthy atmosphere
in which interscholastic athletes can thrive. We believe athletes should be competitive,
sportsmanlike, and excel academically.
We believe students in the stands should have fun,
but not take the focus away from the game.
We believe coaches should act as teachers, helping student athletes develop
while still keeping high school sports in perspective.
We believe that parents should always be positive role models
and be supportive of their child's decisions.
We believe officials commit their own time to high school sports,
and respect should always be shown and given to them.
The most important goal for student athletes is to enjoy high school sports
while keeping a high level of respect between all those involved in the games.
And it's going to be really interesting, Dan, as we get ready to tip off this game. A really packed house here in Erie tonight, and a sort of an electric feel to this game. Going to be really exciting for these two teams as they hit the floor.
Well, like we were kind of cracking the joke earlier. It was like the whole town of Blissfield may have shown up for this game. We're not quite sure, but they're out in force, which is great to see. And the Blissfield team, the Royals, 21-1 in the season. Their only loss, I was talking to one of their players earlier today, was a game where they shot about 20% from the field. This is a team that shoots 50% for the season. So if they can even come close to matching those numbers, you gotta like their chances tonight. And I also like that they're led by 2 sophomores. So what that's showing me is that there's a youth movement with this club, and that they could be good for several years. Even their coach is young.
Let's send it over to Wallen, who's with the head coach of the Royals right now.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Blissfield's head coach, Coach Gilbert. I know that you've played Erie-Mason twice now, and I know how difficult it is to beat a team twice. What are you thinking about coming into it the 3rd time?
It's even harder to beat them 3 times. I think we're here to want to get off to a quick start and try to get ahead early and go from there.
And I know you had a player with an injury that won't be playing today, and I know you play a trap type of defense. How do you think the condition of your girls is going to play a factor in this game today?
Well, our conditioning's great. That won't be a problem. However, she is a leader, our leader. She's the head out there when we're playing. So other people are going to have to step up because it'll be hard to replace her.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck tonight. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Wall, and we'll be back in 1 minute with player introductions and the opening tip-off for tonight's game after this break.
Place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
The broadcast of today's game is a copyrighted presentation of the Michigan High School Athletic Association and LSPN. No reproduction, retransmission, or other distribution of descriptions or accounts of this game may take place without the express written consent of the MHSAA and LSPN.
And now, let's meet the starting lineup for today's game between the Eagles of Erie-Mason and the Royals of Blissfield. For Mason, a freshman, number 32, Mary Liedl. For Blissfield, a sophomore, number 10, Kelsey Wyman. For Mason, a senior, number 10, Kelly Jacobs. For Blissfield, a sophomore, number 11, Brooke Henning. For Mason, a senior, number 24, Paige Stark. For Blissfield, a junior, number 30, Marley Griffith. For Mason, a senior, number 30, Riley Bowman. For Blissfield, a senior, number 24, Colleen Wilson. For Mason, a senior, number 34, Julia Skaggs. And for Blissfield, a senior, number 31, Emma Essen. The head coach of the Eagles is Brian Perrin. The head coach of the Royals is Ryan Gilbert. Your officials for today's game, Doug Sanders, Eric Jenkins, and Dan Chukery. And welcome to Erie-Mason High School, the home of the Eagles, and this Class C District Championship with Dan Empson. My name is Dustin Cresson. Dan, what an exciting basketball game, and we're ready to get this thing started.
Well, I tell you, these Lady Royals believe that they will win. I remember hearing that cheer with the U.S. soccer team this summer, and it has caught on, and it's everywhere, and they are jumping up and down. They've got the lion out for the Blissfield Royals, and this should be a whole lot of fun.
And here's the opening tip, and it'll be controlled by the Royals. Kelsey Wyman, that sophomore leading scorer, handles it first. They'll start passing it around the perimeter, trying to work it inside.
Already see Mason setting up in a zone.
So far, the Royals happy just to pass it around, looking for an open shot here. And there it is, wide open shot, and that'll fall out. Goes out of bounds, controlled by Blissfield.
What Blissfield was doing there, they kept passing the ball around trying to find the open look, but what they did was they caught Erie-Mason sagging from forward and more back like they were waiting for a drive and got an open three.
Missed again, but Wyman cleans it up and puts it back in. Kelsey Wyman averaging 16.6 points a basketball game, and you see why right there.
That's one thing that Mason cannot keep allowing if they get easy buckets like that on the rebounds.
That one's going out of bounds. Going to be controlled by Mason here.
And one of the things that'll be interesting to see, right now Blissfield only playing 8 players tonight, and we'll see if the fatigue ends up being a factor later on in the game.
Bowman to inbound for the Mason Eagles. She'll get it in there to Paige Stark, who drives it back out now. And now the Eagles will work the perimeter. She drives inside and throws up a shot. Gonna rim out. Controlled by the Royals, and now Kelsey Wyman brings it down the floor. Tried to take it straight to the hoop there. Good idea.
I'm already liking this Blissfield coach where we're getting some insight here.
Good ball movement for the Royals. Nice pass inside. They're going to dish it back out. Wide open 3 on the way, and Kelsey Wyman nailed it.
And right now what Blissfield's done in the first couple possessions is they've got Mason chasing the ball instead of playing solid fundamental defense.
Interesting to see that full court man-to-man only having 8 players on the floor. Mason tries to throw one up, no good. Rebound comes back the other way. Wyman controls it for the Royals. They're going to attack the basket there, and that's going to be a 2-shot foul there.
Can only imagine what the conditioning drills are like for the Royals when they go through the workouts in the spring and summer and everything like that.
And now Emma Essen, averaging almost 6 points a basketball game. The senior goes to the free throw line for the first of 2 baskets. She'll miss that first one hard off the back of the iron there.
You can tell she's one of their presence down low because she's shooting 66% from the game. So maybe not the best free throw shooter, but we can look for her to get the ball down low a lot.
Second free throw up and good. So 6-0 in favor of the Royals early here in the first quarter.
And like we saw, they won both these games by over 20 points early in the season. Not that that means anything for tonight.
So in some full court pressure here.
Coach was calling for a travel there.
Mason tries to work this inside. 3 ball on the way. No good for Mary Liedl. Rebounded by the Royals, and now they come back the other way quickly. Nice pass. 3 on the way. No good. And now the Royals will reset.
That's the second good look Griffith has gotten at the hoop. She hasn't made it yet, but if they keep giving her open shots, it's going to fall.
Mason happy to run in the 2-3 zone here. Pass inside, shot up and good.
That's exactly what the zone is designed to stop, isn't it?
Absolutely. And now Coach Perrin and the Erie-Mason Eagles want a timeout.
And if you're an Erie-Mason fan, this is exactly what you didn't want to have happen. You didn't want Blissfield to come out rocking like this to start off the game. 8 points in the first 3 minutes, and you've got nothing. They don't even have a 0 on the scoreboard right now.
And for Blissfield, this is exactly what you wanted.
Exactly. I mean, they've come out, they've moved the ball around well, they've put themselves in position to get open looks. They've got Erie-Mason chasing the ball around. That's something you usually see from maybe a freshman team or an 8th grade team, but the Erie-Mason has not stayed disciplined in their lanes and where they're supposed to be. Again, in a zone, the idea is get your hands in passing lanes, stay in spots so that you can't get the ball inside, force a team to shoot from outside, and hopefully force them into a bad shooting night. Well, so far, they've forced a few bad shots, but they haven't gotten the rebounds from those.
Really interesting for Blissfield to stay in the full court pressure, being outnumbered by 6 whole bodies on the bench.
No, they aren't afraid, clearly.
Poked it away there, and wow. Blissfield gets that steal. Gonna go over to Griffith. She pops up another 3, and she got that one.
I'd say that one was just a little bit closer, and she managed to put that one down. And again, it's just they're just beating Erie-Mason to the spot right now.
Marley Griffith with the 3-pointer there, and Blissfield contesting every ball, and that's going to be a held ball, jump ball, possession arrow going to go to Erie. So Mason will get the ball here.
That's just what we're calling it here. They don't actually have, this is, again, we talk about how old this gym is. They don't actually have the possession arrow on there. I'm not sure if they had the possession arrow in 61, did they?
I don't know. Apparently not. Wide open look for Erie, and Kelly Jacobs lays it up and in, and now Erie-Mason finally on the scoreboard.
It's 11-2, and Coach Gilbert is just upset that they gave up points.
Griffith controls it now, far side. Gonna pass it back over. Griffith pops another three, no good. Wyman puts it back up and in, and it's 13-2. Royals still showing the full court pressure, and wow.
And you think Mason's had 3 games of this already. They would have figured it out by now.
Mason controls that rebound, and that's going to be a foul going against Blissfield. Personal foul on number 31, Emma Essen. That's her first and the team's first. 13-2 Blissfield, 4:01 remaining here in the first quarter.
That's the first thing that's gone right for Erie-Mason, I think, except for the one possession they had down here where they got the open look. I mean, it's just been intense from the Royals so far.
Certainly contesting every single ball and not making anything easy in the early going for Erie-Mason. Almost has it stolen away again, and this game is already getting physical.
Well, hey, it's for a district championship. You don't play again after today if you lose, which is obvious, but at the same time important.
The Royals control the steal. Gonna pass it back out. That's an up. Brooke Henning can't make it go, and Erie-Mason controls the rebound.
That possession didn't work, but Colleen Wilson had eyes in the back of her head. That's something that you see from a team that it knows what it's doing when players anticipate when the defense is coming after them, even from behind.
Open drive to the basket there for Riley Bowman. Can't get her shot to fall. She comes away with that basketball, puts it up and in somehow. You got to like the toughness of that kid on that play. 13-4. 3 on the way, no good. And Erie gets the rebound.
That was a little bit of a heat check 3 right there. She didn't need to take that one. She could have let the offense set up.
Mary Liedl working the point for Erie, has it poked away by Wyman, and she's gonna drive to the lane and puts it up. No, can't get it to go, but she'll go to the line for 2 here.
And she was right in front of us. Wyman just flicked her hand out there. I don't know how she got that steal, but she's clearly someone who knows what she's doing. She's got 4 a game right now.
Very physical game here in the early going.
And again, when the refs aren't calling some of the physical stuff, you got to test. A lot of players, it's almost like a babysitter. You got to test them out for the first little bit. Hey, what can we get away with? And right now the refs are letting a little bit of stuff go.
10-point advantage after Wyman sinks the first free throw. It's 14-4. Second shot on the way, and it's good. She doesn't miss very often.
Well, again, you're averaging 56% as a guard-forward combo. That's impressive.
Mason works it around the pressure that time, but has it stolen away on the other end, and now here come the Royals again. Colleen Wilson brings it down the floor, passes it inside to number 11, and Brooke Henning puts it up and in, and it's 17-4.
You're seeing 2 teams right now that are on different levels and different planes. Not that Erie-Mason isn't trying their hardest, but it's just not good enough right now.
And there is another steal for Wilson. Gonna have to pull it down, and Wyman puts up a 3-ball, got it, and it's 20-4.
Okay.
And now Coach Perrin wants another timeout, and this time he's gonna take a full. We'll be back in 1 minute. You're listening or watching Michigan's high school basketball tournament on LSPN, your home for Lenawee sports.
Huntington. Every proper bear knows that the right fit means everything. Especially when it comes to car seats.
Oh, really? I just did what any bear would do.
So know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size.
I like it.
To learn more, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Oh, hello there.
Oh, where's that bear?
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Only you can prevent wildfires.
And welcome back to Erie, and unfortunately for the Mason Eagles right now, Dan Emson, it is all Blissfield. 20-4.
Well, Dustin, if you know anything about our coverage area, it's pretty much all Lenawee County. So the good news is the people, at least, that watch cable aren't going to see this in Erie. But the people in Blissfield are going to be very happy. The 5 people in town that didn't come to the game tonight are going to be able to see this and really enjoy watching their Lady Royals make a run here. And like I said, they're just playing at a different level. They're quicker to the spot than Mason is. They're making Mason think too much about what they're doing. Mason's not playing instinctively right now.
Wow, and they just keep poking everything away, contesting everything, and Wyman tried to drive it, pulls it back out, going to pass it around.
Look for Brooke.
And another nice shot inside, can't get it to fall, but that's going to be an offensive foul. That one's going against number 11, Brooke Henning. That's her first and the team's second. And amazingly, Mason with no fouls yet.
Well, again, Henning just kind of got a little bit too eager to try to grab that rebound there. She was frustrated with a miss and wanted to get another chance at it. And everything else has been working tonight, so why not?
Mason gets around the pressure, but they travel, and another turnover for the Eagles, and it'll be Royal basketball here.
And Morgan Stark, again, thinking a little bit too much. I was about to compliment them that they finally figured out how to break that press, probably what they've been working on in practice, and then she just thought a little bit too much about her next movement and just stuttered. And that's the difference at high school. For those of you who watch the NBA, that wasn't be a travel in the NBA. That would have been like taking a cup of tea on your way to the basket. But in high school, they still watch just that little shift of the foot, and she made that mistake.
Griffith checks back into the lineup for the Royals here. And they almost have it poked away as Kyoto was trying to handle it. Couldn't quite hold on to it. Had it poked out of bounds, and it's still Blissfield basketball. Wyman inside to Henning, 22-4.
And it looks like our boy Wallen, Augustin on the sideline there, has got something for us. Wallen, why don't you tell us what you found out?
Took that last time out to tell his players that they needed to move the ball with the pass instead of the dribble. They were relying too much on dribbling the ball up court, and that's why they're getting too many turnovers, and they need to slow down and communicate more. Back to you guys.
And the Eagles hit their first free throw there. That's number 22, Morgan Stark, at the free throw line. 22-5, your score.
Take all the free baskets you can get right now, Erie.
She missed the second one, but they control the rebound. Stark dishes it over, and that is going to be an offensive foul called on number 34, Julia Skaggs. That is her first.
And we saw right there that Blissfield can play some defense as well, because she was in position and stayed moving with her and then just kind of let it flow there. And again, they did a little bit better job of calling fundamental stuff in high school than, again, at another level that might have been a block.
Inside it goes to Wyman, but she's double teamed. They're going to pass it back out to Henning. Over to Griffith. They'll work it around, trying to do something with it. Griffith has it poked away, only to be stolen back. And that layup was wild and no good. And now they're going to call a foul, I believe, on number 31 for Blissfield. That's Emma Essen, and that's her second foul, so they're going to have to be careful with that.
I imagine she's probably going to come out sometime soon. And Blissfield in that possession did not do a very good job in their spacing. They had 2 players almost occupied in the same spot on the court, and when you're moving the ball around, that works when you've got players in different spots. When everybody's too close together, you're playing 4-on-5 on offense.
Still with the full court pressure for Blissfield, and that time Erie got around it, only to get down to the other end and have it stolen away again. And now here come the Royals, but they have it stolen away. And now almost a backcourt there, but she smartly pulled it back.
Well, it's one of those things you just got to play within yourself, and right now Blissfield's starting to get out of themselves a little bit.
Shot up, no good. Rebounded by Blissfield. He comes back the other way. 2 seconds left here in the first quarter, and they're going to let time expire. And, folks, we've reached the end of the first quarter. Your score, 22-5 in favor of Blissfield. We'll be back in 1 minute. You're watching Michigan High School Athletic Association basketball here on LSPN, your home for Lenawee sports.
The first American people loved the land. They held it in simple reverence. And in some Americans today, that spirit is reborn. This is South Coast Botanic Garden in California. Once this was a dumping ground for trash and litter. Community volunteers cleaned, planted, and reclaimed it. And there the land is good again. But all around us are reminders of how far we still have to go. So everyone must get involved now. To contact the Keep America Beautiful team nearest you, write Keep America Beautiful, 99 Park Avenue, New York, New York. People start pollution. People can stop it.
And welcome back to Erie, and at the end of the first quarter, it is all Blissfield right now, 22-5 in favor of the Royals. And Dan, Blissfield's back out on the floor waiting for Erie to come back out and take
we're
on.
on pace for an 88-20 game. I don't think it's going to quite end that way. But with the way Blissfield's moving the ball around right now, this is exactly what they want to do, like we talked about in the last time out, because when they've got a shorter bench, you've got a team that maybe isn't inclined to want to run the entire game, and now they're in a situation where they've got a 17-point cushion already that they can take the foot off the pedal a little bit if they want to.
Working it inside to Henning. She'll put it up, no good. Fighting for that rebound. Blissfield to control it.
They're just quicker to the ball right now.
In all 5 positions.
Yeah.
Griffith throws it in there to Henning, and that time Henning puts it up and in, and she'll go to the line for the attempt at the old-fashioned three-point play.
And Henning is just a little bit taller and jumps a little bit higher than all the girls from Mason, so they've got that outlet there. Even though Griffith is probably the shortest player on the court right now, she's able to get enough elevation on that pass to where Henning's the only person. She's either going to grab it or she's going to go out of bounds. It's pretty much the only 2 options right there.
Henning, also a sophomore, averaging 11.2 points a game. She puts that free throw up and in, and it's 25-5.
Well, they won the last 2 games by 21. I have to get to a start already. If it's even the rest of the way, it'll be the same as the last 2. And we talk about how hard it is to beat a team 3 times, but maybe it gets easier. I don't know.
Certainly figured out everything they needed to figure out going into this one, and that's another turnover for Erie-Mason, and it'll be Blissfield basketball. And you almost feel like maybe Erie is going a little fast. Maybe they need to try to slow down and do things a little more methodically and slow the pace of this game down a little.
And again, you've got 2 different teams out here, the 2 different styles, clearly, with the way Mason plays, the way that Blissfield plays. And I agree with you. If Mason can at least slow things down on their end, but right now when you're playing for 20 points down, you've got to make that up. So their defense hasn't been good enough to allow them to slow this game down too much.
Wyman dishes it back out. Griffith thought about a 3, pulled it back down. Gonna go inside again to Henning, and she missed that one. And now Erie-Mason controls the rebound. That's number 30, Riley Bowman, that brought it down, and Wyman steals it away, puts the layup up and in.
And Bowman,
27-5.
Bowman looked up, trying to figure out where the press was coming from, and didn't pay attention to her dribble.
Erie-Mason trying to get anything to work offensively here, having a hard time with the full court pressure. And they've lost that composure we talked about in the pregame, but they did manage to get that basket to fall. And it's 27-7, and Riley Bowman puts 2 points on the basketball scoreboard for the Eagles. And that's a turnover. Nope, she saved it. How about that? Shot on the way, no good. Rebounded by the Eagles, and now the Eagles will come back the other way and try to chip into this lead a little further.
And the thing that gets me with the way that Mason's played their offense right now, they know that the press is coming. They've seen this team twice. They know that they're going to be bodying them the whole time, but they haven't done a whole lot to do anything about it.
Lidl puts up a shot. No good. Kelsey Wyman's going to pick up her first personal. But it was on the floor before the shot, and now the Eagles will inbound. To get it in, that's Bowman. She can't make it go. Gets the rebound, puts it up, no good, and now the Royals get it back, and here they come.
Those are missed opportunities for the Eagles.
Griffith with a 3-ball on the way, hard, no good. Rebounded by Erie, and now here come the Eagles in transition. And that layup is no good.
Erie's best chance at buckets are going to come in those transition situations, so it's not going to be many.
And that's going to be a travel called against Brooke Henning, and that'll be a turnover for Blissfield. And Erie will get the basketball back here, and Mason's got to make something happen. They got to capitalize on these turnovers.
Yeah, and between Wyman and Henning there, they just kind of missed it. They both lost control of the ball, and it didn't work out too well. But maybe that's why they're giving a chance to get a couple players a break, as we see Lexi Clark come in for her first action of the game for Blissfield.
The really scary thing for the rest of Lenawee County is that those two are sophomores.
Oh, yeah. This is a team that if they build some role players around these girls, they're going to be good for a few years now.
Lito with the basketball for the Eagles. Passes it over, almost had it stolen away, but now is able to pass it back out. And that shot cleanly blocked, and everybody diving for it. It'll be Blissfield basketball.
Talking about getting the breaks right there. That was a great block by, I think it was Essen that they got in there on that. You can tell that she's the senior. She may not be the leader on this team as far as scoring goes, but she's definitely the heart of this team, the way she plays out there.
Blissfield methodically brings it down the floor. Looks like they're going to set something up here. Three-pointer on the way. Got it to go. Marley Griffith.
Why not?
30-7.
Well, fell asleep on defense a little bit there, Mason. You sag down in there trying to stop from driving and try to keep the shots outside, but when they make outside shots.
And that basket's going to go for Mason. And at the free throw line for the Eagles will be Riley Bowman.
Bowman's having a good night so far. She's not one of the leading scorers in this team. She's probably 4th or 5th on the list, but she's had a good start to her night so far, providing what little bit of offense Mason's had tonight.
Free throw on the way, no good. Rebounded by the Blissfield Royals. And like you said, Erie's got to make all of those free throws. They got to make the free ones count.
Yeah, 1 for 3 isn't a good start.
They'll pass it back out. The Royals will reset here about halfway through the second quarter, 30-9 in favor of Blissfield.
Listening in on Coach Gilbert, I think he's already losing his voice. Should be interesting to see him by the fourth quarter.
Shot on the way, no good. Rebounded by Griffith, the shortest player on the floor, and she'll put it back up and in, and it's 32-9.
And sometimes that happens. Just who wants it more? Who's in the right spot?
Jacobs handles it for Erie. They'll work it around the perimeter. Lidl puts up a three, no good. Griffith with the rebound for Blissfield.
One thing I tell you about the Griffith family from working around them and seeing them, they are tenacious and intense.
That shot by Emma Essen is no good, and she'll go to the free throw line. She's fouled by number 30, and that is Riley Bowman.
And that's not somebody they want getting fouls right now with the way Bowman's game's been going.
She's pretty much the offense so far for Erie, so certainly don't want to get her in too severe a foul trouble.
And again, it seems like when Erie's had open shots, they haven't made them. That's been the biggest thing here. It could be 32-20 if Erie made their open shots.
It's 33-9 now after the Royals capitalize on that first free throw by Emma Essen. Wyman's going to check out momentarily, I'm sure, for the Royals.
Whole lot of love from the crowd right there for her.
Second shot on the way, no good. Rebounded by number 34, Julia Skaggs for Erie-Mason, and now the Eagles try to make something happen on the other end. Long three on the way, no good, off the top of the backboard. Blissfield controls it and quickly back down the floor the other way. Out of bounds, last touch by Erie.
And that's the thing, too. You look at Erie, and usually you talk about a team having a difficulty shooting on the road because maybe the backboard distance is different. You're trying to look through maybe a clear backboard versus one that's on the stanchion versus one that's on top here. But this is Erie's home gym, and they're making shots that, like that last one, that hit off the top of the backboard almost.
Griffith with another three on the way. That one almost went in, no good. The ball poked around, and Erie finally controls it before she's fouled there, and that foul is going against Marley Griffith.
And that's a little bit of a frustration foul. I mean, she just missed a shot. She was trying to follow back. She was trying to get in there, and she just got her hand in there a little bit too quick. But those are the kind of fouls I imagine Coach Gilbert's fine with because it shows them trying to get in there and create something.
So now Erie's going to be in the bonus for the rest of the first half here.
And that's obviously a positive for Erie. If maybe that'll make them a little bit more inclined to attack a little bit and press a little more. I mean, not that they don't need to score, but if you get yourself in a situation where every foul gets you to the line.
First free throw up and good. Yeah, there you go. That's what you want right there. And they finally cracked double digits with 3:10 remaining in the first half.
And Julia Skaggs is someone they usually see scoring a little bit more, but I look at the girls that are out there right now, and she's got a few girls that are pretty much her height and build, so maybe the advantage she has in other games isn't happening tonight.
Shot up, no good. Rebounded by Blissfield, and now it comes back the other way quickly. Long pass across the floor. Marley Griffith controls it. Back to the top of the key. Inside it goes. Shot up and no good. That is going to be number 23, Isabel Cuto, coming to the free throw line for the Royals.
And Cueto there had another opportunity inside. And this is something that you'd think that the zone the Mason's trying to do would be designed to stop, but they keep getting inside looks. They keep getting the ball over top of Mason's defense. And when you've got an entire starting lineup and bench and everybody on Mason's team that we're pretty sure sits below 6 foot, you're going to be able to do that kind of stuff.
Cueto couldn't make the first free throw fall. This one's up and good. So it's 34-10, and now Blissfield takes the timeout. We'll be back in 1 minute. You're watching Michigan's high school basketball tournament on LSPN, your home for Lenawee sports.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play or even what you wear. You just need to be there. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
And welcome back to Erie, and right now, again, Blissfield just doing everything they want and more. It's 34-10 with 2:54 remaining in the first half, and interesting to see Coach Gilbert calling timeout there for the Royals. Let's see what he dials up on this one.
And we're seeing a little bit of a change that you see the players that don't see quite as much playing time. Cueto's out there. Michaela Kaiser just came into the game. And so this is kind of the breather moment for the Lady Royals. Now, they've only got 8 players dressing tonight, so you can say that these are the backups, but these girls have been putting in just as much effort. Lexi Clark on the floor as well for Blissfield.
Blissfield switches to a little bit of a zone. They pulled off the full court pressure there. Three on the way for Erie-Mason, no good.
Shots are just not falling for the Eagles tonight. I'm not sure what they're shooting, but it's got to be below 30.
Lid on that basket.
It's not supposed to happen at home.
3 on the way, no good for Erie. Or excuse me, for Blissfield, rather. Coach Gilbert not happy that things aren't moving a little quicker, I don't think.
Well, and again, you know, it's hard to be frustrated when you're up 24, but I guess if you can find a way.
Nice pass inside, and Michaela Kaiser gets on the scoreboard for Blissfield.
And you can tell
36-10.
Oh, and you can tell she's one that's going to not afraid to get physical down there, so it'll be interesting to see how they use her down low.
The benefit to a game like this for Blissfield is that it appears you're going to be able to get the full complement of your bench some playing time tonight as they get ready to move on into the regional round.
And again, we're taking that as a win right now. We're just hoping that that stays that way so we don't sound dumb later. But
absolutely. And that's out of bounds. Basketball goes over to Erie. 36-10, your score in favor of the Royals with 1:35 to go here in the first half.
Well, again, the last game that these two had was here at Mason, and it was a 59-37 final. Blissfield's not going to get there in the first half, but right now, whatever points have been taken away from Mason have been given back to Blissfield.
The Eagles try to move the basketball around a little bit here. 3 ball on the way, and that was a rainbow 3, no good. It's going to go out of bounds. Erie-Mason's going to keep control of it.
Erie-Mason's been shooting a lot of threes, and for a team that only averages a little under 30% from field goal range in general, I can't imagine they're hitting over 30% of their threes.
Unfortunately, that seems to be the only open looks they've really been getting.
Or they throw one off the top of the glass.
Layup, up and no good. They'll clean it up and put it right back in.
And Brooke Henning has shown a lot of hustle and tenacity underneath right now. She's cleaned up a whole lot of shots for them.
38-10 as we go under a minute remaining in the first half. And that's going out of bounds. Going to be controlled now by Blissfield after the turnover.
As we wind down the first half here, I mean, I'm hoping Erie-Mason's got to hope that they can hold them, get a turnover, and get something positive to put on the scoreboard before the end of the half.
And you don't want to go into the locker room with a 30-point deficit, so it's equally as important to get a stop here.
Nope. Yeah, you don't want that. That's always the thing I wonder, with no shot clock in high school basketball, do you just dribble out the last 30 seconds? Most teams won't do that, but, I'm like, why not, right?
They're going to wait probably till there's 12 or 15 seconds left and make their move. Time dwindling down here on the first half. Shot comes on the way, rattles in, and there's that 30-point lead for Blissfield.
And that's just one of those signs of the night going your way when a ball bounces twice and drops in.
And that wraps up the first half. Let's send it over to Wallen, who has Blissfield's head coach.
We'll tell you what, the first half, we'll get to Wallen in just a second, 40-10. I mean, everything has gone right for Blissfield. They have made their shots when they've needed to. They've put themselves in a position to where they are controlling the boards. They're picking up their misses. They've been getting more offensive rebounds. The only area I think where they haven't been better than them is maybe fouls. That's about it.
And now let's send it over to Wallen.
Thanks, guys. Coach Gilbert, everything is going right. It's looking good. Do you plan on changing anything? And if not, what are you going to tell your girls to keep up the intensity going out to the second half?
No, we're going to continue to do what we're doing. Offensively, we need just to be a little more crisp in the zone, not force it if it's not there in the second half. And take our time, be patient, not turn it over. And then defensively, we just need to stop their drives, make them shoot it, contest, and box out.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Wallen. We appreciate that. I tell you what, I was joking about Coach Gilbert, but I think he's going to be using sign language by the end of the third quarter. We'll see what happens. We'll be back in 2 minutes with the halftime show. You're watching Michigan's high school basketball tournament on LSPN. Your home for Lenawee sports.
Don't let E. coli mosh with your food. An estimated 3,000 Americans die from a foodborne illness each year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So always separate raw meat from vegetables. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center, keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, button the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep pedaling.
Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners and you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, you ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
This is why you took a second job. While you taught yourself how to fix the plumbing. While you'll do whatever it takes to keep your home. And that is why we want to help. We are making home affordable, a free government resource that can make paying the mortgage easier. Call 888-995-HOPE today.
Gosh, Darlene, it sure is amazing how much we have in common.
I know, Larry. We both love three-car pileups. We both were built in Buffalo.
And we both know wearing safety belts helps save thousands of lives.
Yeah, this is fascinating.
Don't mind Vince. He's getting over a bad breakup.
I know. Janet's picking up the pieces, too. They're in here.
I wish they understood it's all worth it to get people to buckle up.
Hey, lacerated lovebirds, I sense a major crush.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Talk about head over heels.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words.
Playing world music.
What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
It's time for You Lost Your Life with your hosts, Christ Dummies, Vince and Larry. Hi! Hello, and welcome to the show that proves if you don't buckle your safety belt, the loser is you.
That's right, Vince, and by not buckling up, you could end up in places you never dreamed.
Like traction!
Or the emergency room!
Plus, Larry, if you're not buckled up, you could maybe take a ride in a beauty like this. Stay tuned!
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Everything's going right for the Royals.
Well, not completely. Erie does have 10 points.
They do.
They've tried. They really have. It's not like Erie came out and just didn't want to be here. The girls want to be here. They're trying hard, but nothing they're doing is working. And Blissfield has beaten them to this spot. They've gotten where they need to be on offensive rebounds. They've been there in defensive rebounds. They've been there when they needed to spot up threes. And when we saw Griffith just take a three because the girl was sagging off of her, basically Erie is saying, we got this, and Blissfield will take it, and we're gonna do that again. And the full court press, they haven't shown any ill effects of only having 8 players playing 5 for the most part. They've just been doing a phenomenal job of getting to the right spot and knocking down their shots. Erie-Mason has been their problem. They haven't knocked down their shots. They haven't had their players in the right spot. I don't want to be in that locker room right now.
But Blissfield, on the other hand, Coach Gilbert's got to be pretty happy with his team at halftime. Got to like the defensive intensity for the Royals, contesting every single ball, full court pressure, even though they only have 8 girls on the floor.
And what that full court does is it allows you to not have to worry about facing as many shots. They've done a great job being intense, getting their players in the right spots for those moments, but that also keeps a team from having to face as many shots when half the time they don't even get up the floor.
You heard Coach Gilbert talk about some of the things he wants his team to work on in the second half. Crisper passing, a little more patience on the offensive end. Sounds like a team that's tweaking their performance for a regional run.
Exactly. This is a team right now, they are where they're at to be poised to make a run through regionals. Right now, they're just working on stuff. This is almost second half to be practice.
Absolutely. We're going to take a 2-minute break. We'll be right back. You're watching LSPN, your home for Lenawee sports.
You can be a hero by being prepared for an emergency. First, make a plan. Call a family meeting to plan for things like how to connect with loved ones after an emergency.
There.
Or your escape route.
I am not fast.
Build a kit. When disaster strikes, it's important to have enough supplies to last 3 days. And don't forget the batteries.
Low battery.
Number 3, know the facts. From blackouts to floods, no matter the emergency, the more you know about it, the better you can deal with it.
You're gonna need some upgrades.
Number 4, get involved. Lend a hand in your community to help others know their role in an emergency.
You guys, do you feel this? We're gonna be heroes!
You can be a hero by being prepared.
Yes!
Visit ready.gov/kids for more preparedness tips.
Welcome back to Erie, and it's halftime, and it's 40-10 in favor of the Blissfield Royals. And now we're going to send it over to Wallen, who's with the head coach.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Coach Perrin, head coach of Erie-Mason Eagles. Coach, I know it's been a difficult first half. What have you said to the girls, and what adjustments have you made coming into the second half?
We just need to slow down. We tried playing too fast, and we can't do that with this team. That's their game, it's not ours. We tried playing like that. We got to slow down, move the basketball better, and and just make some shots. We missed too many shots the first half. So.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
You're watching Michigan High School Basketball's tournament on LSPN, your home for Lenawee sports.
This new dad is picturing a tree house in the sky, but he's ignoring the instructions. Good luck, big guy. His kids know that he's building without a clue. Never been so good with nails and glue. Now we're trapped inside a box. I hope mom knows what to do. Mom! See, you don't have to be perfect to be the perfect parent.
Thousands of siblings in foster care will take you just as you are.
This job looks perfect. It says you need a high school diploma. You've got one of those, right?
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
I got that.
Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Mason and the Eagles trying to put something together, some kind of comeback, and it would be miraculous if they were able to put it together. But hey, stranger things have happened in high school basketball. That's why they play the game.
Exactly, Dustin. If you want one way to amp up the crowd, a little sandstorm to get him going here, maybe to start off the second half. Mason gets the ball, so that's a good step in the right direction.
Absolutely. 40-10 as we start the third quarter. Mason will control it here. Paige Stark to inbound for the Eagles as we get started here in quarter number 3.
And
the winner moves on.
Yeah, the Blissfield fans showing that they can count, so that's good. They count down the clock every time.
Education's important.
That's what we're here for. And steals. We're here for steals.
Just like that, Wyman puts it up, and it's 42-10, and she's making it look easy.
Just like Erie-Mason drew it up in the locker room, I'm sure.
Lidl drives it into the lane, rattles out, and that's just the kind of night it's been so far for Erie. A great look at the basket, just couldn't get it to fall.
Bit of a microcosm there.
That's a Central Michigan word on that one, so thanks for that one, Dan. But now Blissfield's going to fight for that ball, and Mason will finally control it, and she'll be fouled. Julia Skaggs gets fouled on the way in, and that foul is going against number 31, Emma Essen, and that is her third personal, the first of the second half for Blissfield.
They're even leading in fouls.
Emma Essen, the leading fouler, unfortunately for her. Nice look at the basket, can't get it to go there. Kelly Jacobs goes up, and she'll be fouled in the process by Colleen Wilson. That's her first and the team's second already here in the first minute of the third quarter, so not happy about that.
Well, that might be one way for Mason, like we said, to try to get back into this game is just do some intensity and try to get to the line. If your shot's not falling from other parts on the court, you'd like to think it's going to fall from the free throw line. So that's one way to try to grit out some kind of comeback here.
And Jacobs puts the first free throw up and in. Let's see if she can hit that second one. She doesn't. Henning gets the rebound for the Royals. Wyman pushes it back up the floor, and here they come. Gonna pass it over to Griffith at the free throw line extended. She'll drive it in. And then Brooke Henning puts it up and in for the Royals, and it's 44-11.
No lack of intensity coming out in the third quarter. It's clear the coaches said, don't settle down just because we're winning this game. We've got to keep pushing and pressing and stealing the ball.
And I would venture to guess that Mason might have as many turnovers as they do points at this point.
That is a safe bet with the way that Blissfield's been pressing, and a team like this that they may not have a ton of height with Blissfield. From talking to Colleen Wilson earlier today, they don't necessarily have a true post player, someone they can just throw the ball into, but the intensity that they have and the position that they get, you might not need it to make a long run.
Jacobs goes top of the key for the Eagles, back over to Lidl, wants to drive it inside. Gonna knock down a bunch of people in the process. And that's a nice looking basket there for Riley Bowman. And Bowman has been the offense to this point for the Mason Eagles. 44-13 your score. Blissfield controls it. Looking for more here.
You kind of wonder what is Blissfield going to take away from this? What's a positive half for us? Is it keeping maintaining the score, or is it getting another 30-point lead?
Well, now we're going to find out if Wyman can hit this three-point play the old-fashioned way, as she'll go to the free throw line.
She was a little ginger standing up there, so that's one of the questions you have to ask too. I mean, you don't want to lose any intensity. You don't want to take away from what your team is doing right now to keep them in the mode. But at what point do you start resting some of your top players because you don't want them to get hurt for the rest of the game?
Well, unfortunately for Coach Gilbert, he can't rest them a whole lot because he only has 3 subs.
And we already saw that with Jessica Bausman, who couldn't play today because she has a separated shoulder. So you don't want to have another one of those situations happen as you go into a regional game.
47-13 in favor of Blissfield. 6:03 to go for third quarter. Lidl drives it inside for the Eagles, and she'll put it up and count that basket.
And that play right there looks like something that they've run often this season. It's something she's more used to being able to do on the court and just hasn't been working for them tonight. But they ran around the screen nicely and just cut to the basket. It was a pick and roll, and she just took it all the way in.
And that's the 4th foul for Emma Essen and the 3rd personal for the team here in the third quarter. 47-16. Griffith works it inside to Henning. Can't make the little bunny there, and Erie-Mason controls the rebound. Lidl is intent on driving that ball to the basket.
She is, and again, that's one of those things when things aren't falling for you. I mean, you look at it, you want to go back in the day to Jordan and Pippen, one of their last title runs when their shots weren't falling against the Knicks. They just kept driving to the lane, trying to get a foul. And the thought right now for Erie-Mason is we're either going to get a shot or we're going to get a foul or both.
And Mary Lidl is a freshman. She's the leading scorer of this Mason Eagle basketball team. And gosh, if they could get some players around her, they might have something going here too, because she's a good-looking freshman basketball player.
And she doesn't look like a freshman either. She doesn't carry herself like a freshman out there. Her dribble needs a little bit of work. She kind of is a little awkward when she dribbles, but everything else about her game, it seems like she's got some serious potential as the years go on.
Colleen Wilson comes down with a rebound for Blissfield, and now the Royals bring it back the other way. Lexi Clark handles it top of the key. Looks like the Royals are a little more content just to pass it around and be a little more patient here in the third quarter. Brooke Henning puts it up, and that'll count.
And that's what they like to do. From what we've seen in Blissfield's offense, they pass the ball, they move it around the perimeter, and they're looking for that interior pass. Again, even though they may not have a ton of post threats necessarily, one of those is definitely Brooke Henning, who's taken several of those shots from just outside the paint and put them off the glass.
Mary Lidl picked up her 2nd personal there. The free throw is good, and it's 50-17.
I got nothing.
You're almost speechless.
It's going well.
Lidl's going to throw up a 3, and that is an air ball. It's going to go out of bounds to Blissfield.
And you know this isn't how Erie-Mason planned this game to go. They've seen this team twice. They expected to come out probably and play that zone and force the Royals into a bad shooting night, but it has not been happening. That is one of the few mistakes we've seen tonight right there.
Mason decided to start showing some full court pressure, and quite frankly, I'm surprised they haven't done this earlier in the basketball game.
And again, and that's one of the things that it's interesting to see a team that uses the press so much have to face it, because usually those teams aren't ready for it.
And Coach Perrin wants a 30-second timeout. And gosh, Danny, you got to be thinking that he's going to tell this team, we got to keep the pressure up. You know, we've got to make them work for everything they've got with a 33-point lead. You got to make them work hard.
And in the last couple of minutes, we've seen a few things go right for Erie-Mason. When they drive the basketball, which they didn't do a ton of in the first quarter, the first half they threw up a lot of threes. When they start driving the basketball, they've been able to force Blissfield into some fouls and some mistakes. And that's one thing with a short bench that you can maybe look at as a little bit of an advantage for Erie. Can we get them into some foul trouble where they've got to play their 8 players more often than they want to?
One thing I can say about the atmosphere here at Erie is that the DJ has some eclectic music choices.
And the DJ gets into it. The fans, as much as the game may not be going the way they want it to, they're still here. They're hanging out. The Eagle is dancing. I mean, we're having a good time here tonight, and everyone sees this as what it is. This is the last time for this gym. It's the last chance for these girls to have a magic moment in here.
Lidl controls it top of the key. She'll pass it out. Long shot on the way, and it's good for Julia Skaggs. And the Erie-Mason Eagles cracked 20.
And she's finally starting to heat up a little bit maybe. We'll see what happens. That was a good-looking shot from Skaggs, who's a post player who can hit them from outside.
Griffith thought about shooting that one, pulls it back down. Colleen Wilson now, as the Royals work it around the perimeter, they'll throw it inside there. Now Wilson puts up a shot, no good. Griffith gets the rebound and throws up a shot. It goes out of bounds, last touch by Erie, and kind of surprised they didn't call a foul there.
You know, that's one of those things I was about to say, is that when you have a player that's that short, you just put two people around her and let her jump up, and unless there's a movement, they're not really going to call a foul on. I mean, she's just shorter than everybody else. That's why she plays outside.
Wyman, or excuse me, that's Henning, and she puts it up and off the magic glass, and goodness gracious, I mean, 54-20.
The bank is open. That was like a pool shot, slap shot, and it went in. That's one of those things. Everything you can think about pretty much for the Royals tonight is going right. I want to see one of them shoot a shot with their eyes closed.
4:04 to go here in the third quarter. And there's another three on the way. No good that time for Riley Bowman. Griffith going to fight for that basketball for Blissfield, and it's a jump ball. Possession arrow is going to go to Blissfield.
And again, one of those moments where Erie-Mason, instead of driving, decided to drive and kick. Now, maybe she didn't like the lameness she had coming to the baseline, but at the same time, they haven't been hitting threes. You might want to take that many.
Michaela Kaiser checks back into the basketball game for Blissfield here.
Well, she'll probably see some extended minutes in the second half.
Coach Gilbert has both Wyman and Henning on the bench right now.
I think he can afford it.
Oh, yeah. A little bit of a cushion.
Well, and again, when things are going your way, you want to make sure that that you keep it that way. And some of these players that don't have as much time, well, hey, let's get them some actual game action so that in the case that they are called upon, they're ready for it.
Three ball on the way for Griffith, no good. Wilson gets the rebound. She'll be fouled on her way back up to the basket, and she'll shoot two.
And Wilson had position there for Erie-Mason. Kallenbach tried to get in position and shove her around a little bit there. That didn't work out. Sorry, it was Kelly Jacobs. It was trying to get underneath her. It didn't work out so well for her.
So Jacobs picks up her first personal, and she'll send Colleen Wilson to the line to shoot two, and she makes the first one, and it's 53-20.
Good-looking free throw. I mean, that shows you the attention to detail of Coach Gilbert. He's even got the girls shooting great free throws. The nice rotation backwards, did a nice job with that one.
Well, and the intangible thing is that at this stage in the season, free throws can win you or lose you a basketball game in the playoffs.
It may not be quite as essential tonight, but they're going to come up against some tough teams in the future. Each of the teams that they're looking at playing tonight, most likely coming into the regionals, are both 18-3 coming into their games tonight. Unless one of them gets upset, that's what Blissfield is going to be looking at coming forward.
Erie tries to work it inside. It's stolen away by Marley Griffith. And Coach Gilbert's going to call a timeout, and that's a 30-second timeout, and goodness, he is trying to protect that basketball.
Well, trying to protect the basketball, but also at the same time, hey, every timeout that he takes is a break for his girls, for the girls that are out there playing out of a 32-minute game. A lot of these girls are playing 28 to 30 minutes of that game. So, hey, 30-second break, let's take it.
Absolutely. And if you're Blissfield right now, 54-20, 34-point lead, a little over halfway through the third quarter, and like you said, it's time at this point to make sure that none of your key contributors get hurt, get everybody else some playing time, and get out of here with a win.
And they're playing solid. I mean, I saw some of the ball girls, they've got T-shirts that say reloaded on the back. I mean, they're going to be reloading for a few years to come here.
Ain't that the truth? Blissfield's going to have the basketball as we come back from the timeout. Lexi Clark going to handle the point guard duties for the Royals here.
And
Mason in a 2-3 zone.
No slight to the players that are out here, but right now this is probably a little more of a backup look for the Lady Royals, which is probably a good thing, like we said, to get some of the other players a bit of a break and just get everybody else some game action and let them get some intensity.
Griffith almost had it poked away there. Wilson handles it now. She'll come back top of the key to Clark as they'll work the perimeter. That's Griffith back with it, and they'll go to Wilson top of the key as they start to work it around, looking inside. They'll pass it back out, and now Cueto makes it fall in, and it's 56-20.
And she's another player that shoots almost 50% from the floor. This has gotten to the point where the Blissfield crowd is now heckling the Mason crowd like, we can't hear you. That's where we're at tonight.
And Cueto also a sophomore. So that trifecta of sophomores is going to have this Blissfield team in contention, it appears, here for quite some time.
And Carrie Ginther just lost that ball out of bounds. She was not ready for it, and that's kind of been, as much as they've played, this is now their third time, Mason's just not ready for this team.
2:01 to go here in the third quarter, and it's all Blissfield. Lexi Clark handles the ball, and she'll throw it away, and it'll be a turnover. Basketball goes over to Erie-Mason.
That might be the 5th mistake they've made tonight.
Yeah,
I'm just throwing it out there, but I feel like this is about the 5th mistake, maybe. Yeah. And you got to know that they've had good teams here at Erie-Mason, because this is Coach Parent Court. So whether it's Brian or a member of the family, we know that there's a good legacy in this family. So this might just be a year where they came up against a team that's just a little bit better than them.
Lidl threw up a shot, no good, and it'll go out of bounds. Blissfield basketball, 1:41 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
The one nice thing for Coach Gilbert, it might save his voice through the 4th quarter.
Yeah, things have quieted down a little bit here, so maybe he can drink some herbal tea and start resting that voice up for the regionals.
And they'll be back at it again on Tuesday. Most likely. Let's not get too far out of it. There's still another quarter, you never know, right? But most likely.
And that's a travel, and there's another turnover for Blissfield. And you know, anytime you have your younger players out there, the ones that maybe don't see a lot of playing time, especially together, you're going to have some mistakes like that.
Well, I'm not really sure if that was a travel, and I think the refs are just starting to feel bad for Mason.
Lidl with the basketball for the Eagles. She'll pass it over to Jacobs. Jacobs over, now they'll work the perimeter back to Lidl. She'll try to drive it inside. Tries to get it in to Bowman. And she's going to get fouled. They're going to call that a foul. And that also could have been a travel called against Mason, I think. But again, you know, like you said, maybe a little bit of a little bit of home court advantage if there was one tonight.
Well, you could have had anything there. It could have been a travel. It could have been a jump ball almost, and they decided that one of those hands that was in there, because there were 4 players grabbing for the ball, one of those hands got a little wrong spot.
So Colleen Wilson picked up her 2nd personal. Mason with the basketball. Excuse me, that was Cueto with the foul there, not Wilson. I apologize. Go out of bounds to Blissfield.
And Jacobs tried driving the baseline to at least pick up a foul or get the shot off, and got a little bit too close to the line.
And that's Wilson with it now. She's double teamed. She'll pass it out. That's Cueto. Gonna pass it back over to Wilson. Wilson pulls up. Shot won't go. Rebound comes down to Erie-Mason. And now here comes Mary Lidl with the ball the other way for the Eagles. Gonna dump it off. Shot no good. Jacobs picks up the rebound, puts it in.
First bit of positive we've seen in a few minutes for Erie-Mason. And they have not quit. These girls, they don't care what the scoreboard says. They're going to keep fighting the whole way through this. And that's great to see for Mason. They could have easily given up on this game, but they don't want to.
So Kelly Jacobs will go to the free throw line to try to complete the old-fashioned three-point play here.
This is her last game, probably of her career. She's a senior in this gym.
Free throw no good. Blissfield with the rebound. Clark, your point guard. Mason showing some tough defense here. Tries to pass it inside. That's Kaiser with it. Has it poked out. Wilson puts up a shot and got it to go. Colleen Wilson. 58-22 as time dwindles down on the 3rd quarter. And that long shot, no good, and that's going to do it for the 3rd quarter. We'll be back in 1 minute. You're watching Michigan High School basketball on LSPN, your home for Lenawee sports.
You know what I think? I think you forgot to lock your door. A lot of people do that. They forget. It's too bad because all crime needs is a chance. Don't give it the chance. It's my job to teach you to protect yourselves. Make it your job to learn. Write to Box 6600, Rockville, Maryland. Oh, and one more thing. Lock your door and take a bite out of crime.
Sometimes all it takes to be a dad is remembering how to be a kid again. Take time to be a dad today.
And let's send it over to Wallen as we get ready to start the 4th quarter.
Coach Gilbert of the Blissfield Royals, the intensity was really high. He wanted to get a point across his players to keep the intensity up. The game is not over, and looking from the looks of Coach Gilbert, he's going to be like this until that final whistle blows. Back to you guys.
Controls the ball to start the 4th quarter. 58-22, Blissfield your score. Bowman with the basketball for the Eagles. She'll pass it back out to Liedl. Back up top to Kelly Jacobs, and the Eagles are working it around. Looking for anything inside and just not finding much of anything.
Tell you what, Coach Gilbert has done a great job of keeping these girls' intensity up, like Long was just talking about. I mean, there's no quit on this defense, even when they're up this much.
Long three on the way, no good. Rebound to Jacobs. She'll dish back out to Bowman and almost threw it away there, but Skaggs chased it down and she got fouled. And that's going to go against number 23. That's Cueto, and that's going to be her third personal.
A little bit of a bump there, and Coach, he didn't give any counseling there, so it was probably just one of those things where you moved when another player didn't, and that happens sometimes out here. But one thing to note, we talked about the last two times these teams played. It was 59-37, 58-20. In 3 quarters, they put up the same offensive output that they had in the last 2 games.
At the free throw line, Morgan Stark for Erie-Mason. She puts the first one in, and now she'll get a second try as the Eagles are back in the bonus here in the second half.
And that's probably the best thing to happen for Erie outside of what Blissfield fans are trying to start right now. We're in wave territory. The Blissfield fans are trying to start the wave.
And give it to Erie. They're diving for every ball. They have not given up, even though they're down substantially. And that jump ball is going to go to Blissfield.
And I tell you what, even with the intensity that you see out there from both of these teams, we saw it at the beginning of the game. Both teams did the picture at center court. So the sportsmanship is something people can definitely take a page from. Even with the intensity of this game, these girls are still smiling at each other. They know that this is a game. It's important, but it's still a game.
And you can tell just by the way the athletic directors were talking to each other and the coaching staffs that there's a lot of respect between these two schools. That's really good to see. And Mary Liedl comes away with the steal and a nice transition bucket for Erie-Mason. And Mary Liedl's got to be feeling pretty good about that one.
And that's the highlight of the night right there. That's probably what Erie wanted to do for most of the game, was force a few turnovers and be more intense and get some of those easy buckets. It took till 6.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter for it to happen.
Coach Gilbert still coaching them up, and personal foul going to be called against Paige Stark there. And that's just the 4th team foul against Mason here in the second half. The second personal for Stark.
The one thing I'll give Mason, they've done a good job of being intense, but not too intense. They've bodied players, but that was one of the few times they pushed a little too far.
3 on the way for Griffith, no good, too hard. Stark gets the rebound, and here comes Liedl the other way for Erie-Mason. Stands top of the key, works it around. There's Stark with a wide open look at the basket, no good. Bowman comes down with the rebound for the Eagles. She'll dish it over to Stark, back out to Liedl.
That was one of the few open looks that they've had this half, and they just couldn't knock it down.
Six minutes stand between Blissfield and a district championship. They still have some work to do. Mason couldn't make that shot go, and now here comes Marley Griffith back the other way with the basketball for Blissfield. Shot up and good for Michaela Kaiser. Nice looking shot there as she cleaned up the rebound garbage, if you will. 60-25.
Still pushing up the floor even at this point in the game.
Liedl to Skaggs, back to Liedl, over to Stark now. He'll drive inside, throws up a shot, no good. Bowman puts it up and in for Erie-Mason.
We heard Coach Gilbert, I mean, he just said box out, and the girls didn't do it there. He's kind of shrugging his shoulders at this point because the rest of the game has gone so well, but you can see that he doesn't want any mistake. This team isn't playing Erie-Mason right now. They're playing themselves.
Just over 5 minutes to go. Clark drives it inside, dishes back out to Cueto, and she travels.
And there's a reason why some of these girls maybe aren't starters. Cueto is, you can see the intensity with her, but we also see she's a little bit out of control. She's made a few mistakes where she hasn't quite played within herself, and that's something that I think she's going to end up learning considering she's only a sophomore.
Another open look there for Jacobs, couldn't make it go, and now here come the Royals the other way. Lexi Clark smartly pulls it back and resets her offense here.
Blissfield's in that spot where even when they aren't on their defensive game, it hasn't hurt them.
Griffith thought about another 3 there and pulled it back down, and she's hit a couple and missed a couple tonight. Really like the tenacity of this Blissfield team, though.
That's something that'll carry them a lot farther than just talent will when it comes to playoffs time.
And you know, just like Erie-Mason hasn't quit, Blissfield hasn't quit either, and with almost a 40-point lead, I mean, it's tough to maybe stay motivated for 4 quarters.
We'll tell you what, I don't think with Coach Gilbert there'd be any issue with that. And that's one of the things, you talk about his youth, I think he's right around 30. He was talking to his brother earlier, who was actually in our police firefighter game that we had a couple weeks ago up in Onstead for that scholarship that they were trying to donate money towards. So his youth and his intensity comes through with the players and the way that they play.
Cueto's going to go to the free throw line after she's fouled by number 40, Carrie Ginther for Erie-Mason. That's her first and the team's 6th. And Cueto's going to go to the free throw line, and she'll be shooting 2. First free throw up and good.
One thing
what a
about
fluid motion on that. Sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say that. One of the things about Isabel is everything she does is so precise, but still fluid. It's like everything. It's like she was meant to play basketball.
She made them both, folks, and it's 62-27.
She might be a little bit too intense for her own good right now with staying within herself, but her fundamentals are great. She had that high arcing one. Her shot's never going to get blocked.
She's a sophomore, so she's going to have some time to get that control under control.
Exactly.
Erie-Mason going to work it around the perimeter, looking for something inside, and they really haven't had much to find there, but there's a nice-looking three-point basket for Paige Stark. And the Eagles hit 30.
And that's one of the shames for this Erie-Mason team is they got a lot of seniors, so it'll be interesting to see what they can do to come back next year. Paige Stark, one of those players that won't be around to see what happens.
Cueto tried to drive it inside, and there again, you talked about the control issue, and that was another one where if maybe she just had that composure, she wouldn't have turned it over there.
Well, and that's something that, again, as a sophomore, she had somebody kind of half stick out a knee on her. It wasn't intentional, it wasn't a foul or anything, but kind of stuck that knee out, and a player that's has a little more body balance that she'll hopefully develop over the next couple of years is going to be able to fight through that and continue driving to the basket.
Cueto going to pull up a shot there, and she nailed it.
Like I said, hand in her face, because how high she releases the ball over top of her head, forget about it.
That quick release up there is going to be tough to defend, and that's going to cause some people some problems as she goes into the regionals with her team here.
We're hoping so.
Mason continues to try to work the ball. They're being very patient looking for a shot, but at this stage in the basketball game, patience is not what you want. You want something quick, but
misses aren't what you want either.
Yeah, exactly. Clark with a nice move there, dishes it out. Long shot on the way for Blissfield, no good. Gonna fumble it around, and who wants it? Griffith comes away with it for the Blissfield Royals, and she comes up with everything that comes near her.
Well, she's maybe a little bit too intense. A lot of her threes have been a little too strong tonight.
And she carried it. Turnover goes to Erie-Mason.
Coach Gilbert right there kind of looked up at the ref like, really? Come on. But again, I think any borderline call right now is going to go towards Erie.
64-30, your score with 2:34 to play. Looks like Coach Perrin starting to get some of those seniors out for a final ovation here on their home floor for the last time. The last game in this gym before it's renovated, and be interesting to maybe get back here and see another game after they redo the gym here.
And Emily Winkleman, a senior who has not really accrued hardly any stats at all this season, just probably a bench player, helps out a lot in practice. You see the knee brace on there, probably doesn't get a chance to move around too much, but we'll look for her to score at some point tonight.
Eagles work the ball around the perimeter. Shot no good. Rebounded there by Michaela Kaiser for the Royals, and now Blissfield brings it back the other way. Under 2 minutes to play here now. Cueto puts it up, no good. Rebounded by who else? Marley Griffith.
Shortest player on the court with probably the most tenacity, biggest heart, and even managed to drive Stark into a foul there. And Stark, that's 2 bad possessions for her. She shot from the hip from the free throw line and didn't have a great look. And she's going to go out for the end of her career on a foul.
That's her 3rd personal, team 7th, and now Marley Griffith goes to the free throw line to shoot 1 and 1, and Erica Baccarella checks into the basketball game for the Erie-Mason Eagles. She'll be replacing number 40, that's Carrie Ginther, and she's a senior, so she'll be making her last appearance here, and Joy Ghost comes out onto the floor for the Eagles as well. She replaces number 14, Emma Wright. First free throw, up no good, and the rebound's going to be brought down by Mason, and almost could have been called over and back there, but they, like you said, anything questionable is going to Mason right now.
Well, and every player on Mason's team averages a point or less a game in a game. So this is all of the seniors, all the backups, all the people who don't get a chance to play as much, getting their time to come out and do something cool with the last minute and a half.
64-32.
Their only challenge is they're still going up against half of the starting lineup for the Royals because of the lack of bench players right now.
And Emma Wright's going to go to the free throw line for Erie-Mason.
Wright, another player, she averages about a half a rebound a game as a senior, so she's been a nice practice player for him probably, and we'd love to see her make a shot here.
She misses that first free throw.
And that's something that these girls are going to be able to say for the rest of their lives. Even if they didn't win the game, they get to say, hey, look, I played in a district title game. It may not have worked out for them, but it gave them a chance. So all of this is the emotions are going to start running for Erie-Mason as Joy Ghost came out of the game. She's another senior. These are moments that these girls are going to remember the rest of their life.
Emma Wright toes the line for her second free throw. She missed them both. Rebound there by Lexi Clark for Blissfield. Stolen away by Wright. And she'll be fouled. She'll go back to the free throw line.
Tell you what, I don't care about how well you shoot the ball. She's got a lot of intensity as well. And that's one thing that you can never fault these Erie girls. They have brought it the entire night, even if their shot has not been falling. And that's been the biggest thing. I mean, I'm not sure what percentage they're shooting. It's not good. And that's been the biggest challenge for them tonight, outside of not being quite in the right spot on defense, is their shot just hasn't been falling.
And Emma Wright puts that free throw in, and she'll get another crack at it. It was 1 and 1.
I was about to say, I wasn't sure everyone's running away. Wright was so happy she forgot that she gets another one.
64-33 as Wright attempts free throw number 2, and she missed that one. She'll keep fighting for the rebound, though. And unfortunately, there's a Royal on the floor that's not on the roster.
We're going to have to check on that for the next game. That might be a JV call-up for the playoffs, maybe.
And she shoots it, no good. Emma Wright comes down with a rebound for Erie-Mason. She'll charge the other way, has it poked away by Cueto. And now she'll come back down the floor.
For the first time tonight, the Lady Royals content to slow it down.
They'll work it inside again. And there's a shot by Marley Griffith, and she'll go to the free throw line.
Tell you what, she may not be the player of the game because she's probably missed more shots than she's made, but I give her like the grinder of the game or something. I mean, she's a player that's just been everywhere on the court tonight. I believe she's a junior, yeah, so she's still got one more year. She's one of the triplets, the Griffith triplets, which I give Kyle, who's one of the assistant superintendent for the LISD, I give him full credit. He's got 3 kids that are all juniors at home right now.
That's an expensive house.
And she works on her shot a little bit in the offseason. She's going to be a force next year along with it.
65-33 in the waning moments of this basketball game. Long 3 on the way for Gracie Hernandez, the 5'5 junior for Erie-Mason, and maybe something pleasant to end this basketball game on, and that's going to just about wrap things up. Congratulations to the Blissfield Royals, district champions, and they can officially celebrate tonight with a 65-36 win over the Erie-Mason Eagles.
And again, you talk about the fact that they were without one of their rotation players, Jessica Bausman, who chips in 5 points a game, who's another person that they had in there. They won this game with 8 players. They were clearly the better team tonight. I don't think you doubt the intensity or the tenacity or any of those intangibles from Mason. you just doubted their ability to put the ball in the hoop. They just missed too many shots, and it's got to be a frustrating end to their season. They were probably sitting back at the beginning thinking, man, this is going to be a tough one for us to win, but if things go our way, we can do something. Oh, they didn't tonight. The things just did not go their way tonight.
Well, let's quickly go over to Wallen, who's with...
We're going to get to Wallen in a little bit.
Sorry.
We're a little too fast for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He'll get there in a minute, but we just need to take a look at this game, break down how this has come together for Blissfield. They're fundamentally strong. They put their players in the right spots. They move the ball when they need to move the ball. They take the shots when they've got the shots. They move them when they don't have it. There were very few mistakes tonight by this Blissfield team, and that has been a huge part of the reason for why they're moving on to a regional now. And they're going to have, I believe it's going to be, it looks like it'll be an Ypsilanti prep school, so it'll be a tougher test for them than they had tonight, an 18-3 team. So we'll see what happens there.
Let's go over to Wallen, who's with the head coach.
All right, thanks, guys. I'm here with Coach Gilbert from Blissfield, the winning coach, won a championship. Coach, what are the feelings that you're going through right now?
I mean, we're excited. We're ready to go to the next one, though.
What are you going to start doing to prepare for the playoffs?
We're going to continue to do what we do. We have a very tough matchup coming up next against Ypsilanti Arbor Prep, more than likely. But we'll be ready to go play them.
All right, enjoy the trip home.
All right.
And congratulations. Thank you, Coach. Back to you guys.
And I think you're right. I think that voice is just about shot for Coach Ryan Gilbert, and why not?
He's got, what, two or 3 days to get that voice back under control before he needs to be ready to go for another game again against probably a tougher opponent. Ypsilanti Arbor Prep, 18-3 in the season, plays in a different conference than what you see from the LCAA. So we don't know too much about them yet, but we know that the Lady Royals will be up to the task. But at the same time, we also know that they're going to be facing a different team. And Ypsilanti schools, even at this size, they're playing against some bigger schools. They're playing against some players. You look at Lenawee County, it is an awesome place to live. It's a wonderful area to be from. But the people in Ypsilanti County, in Ypsilanti, spend a little more time balling usually because that's where they got their free time. Maybe they're not out in the countryside. Maybe they're not out hanging out with their friends. Basketball is a bigger part of cities. It just is what it is. So it'll be interesting to see how that translates for Blissfield going up against a team that has had a really good season so far. We're figuring it's going to be Ypsilanti Arbor Prep. We're not quite sure yet because obviously they still have to finish their game. We don't have the update on that yet. But Blissfield looking at a great opportunity to make a run into a regional final and who knows, maybe even a quarterfinal the week after.
And we do know that one of the participants in that regional game will be the Blissfield Royals, who are now 22-1, and that's impressive. Very impressive for a team with only 9 players to go 22-1. Really, really impressive for the Blissfield Royals.
Yeah, again, an 8.5 right now. We're really hoping that Jessica Bausman will have her shoulder back ready for Monday, but I really don't know if that's going to happen. That's going to be tough for her to get back on the court. And we're not sure how intense that injury is, but they've shown they can do it with 8 players. We'll see whether or not they'll be able to keep that up and keep that intensity up. They got a few days to rest. Hopefully, coach will give them a light practice tomorrow. Hopefully, they've earned that much, and we'll see what they can get to come Tuesday.
Congratulations again to Blissfield on their huge win over Erie-Mason tonight.
And tell you what, we will be right back. We're going to get a chance to wrap things up with Wallen and hopefully get a chance to talk to a couple players from Blissfield, maybe even the coach from Erie-Mason. If nothing else, you'll see us in a couple of minutes. You are watching the Michigan High School Basketball Tournament on LSPN, your home for Lenawee Sports.
Okay, Simon, what do people wear?
Clothes.
That's right, so it's important to learn how to dress yourself. Here's how it's done. Shirt, underwear, pants, socks, shoes. Underwear, always first, name tag on the back. Then pants and shirt. Go ahead and put this on. Now with the shirt, you want to make sure the first button's right or you have to start all over again, okay? Socks left on left, right on right. Tying the shoes, we're going to take the laces, we're going to cross them over, we're going to turn around where the bunny goes down in the hole, pull it tight, and bunny ears. Got it?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Preventing wildfires. That's all Smokey wants for his 70th birthday.
Hey.
Ready to go?
Yeah, but the fire's not out.
Close enough.
Close enough? If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. I mean, the next thing you know, you've torched our whole neighborhood.
Which is why we're not going anywhere?
Exactly. 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
Really? Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, Smokey.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
And welcome back to Erie, and wow, what a game for the Blissfield Royals. They move on as they knock off the Erie-Mason Eagles tonight.
Well, and Erie-Mason was nice enough to play Celebrate right there, so that was great to see. And Wallen Augustin is celebrating with 2 members of Blissfield's team. Wallen, what have we got to say to the champs?
All right, thanks, guys. I'm here with Kelsey and Brooks on the team of the Blissfield Royals, and now that I can call you guys champions, how does it feel?
Awesome. Amazing. Yeah, we worked really hard for this. Yeah. I feel awesome. This is what we worked for.
Okay, so you get here. It's a long trip, long bus ride here, and you're playing, you're shooting, you're boxing out. What are you thinking throughout this whole game?
We want to win. We got to stay focused, and we got to do what we been doing all season.
What we do best. We have to play defense and play off our defense and go to our offense. And yeah, just basically what we do best.
Okay, I know you've seen this team twice before. This is the 3rd time. It's hard to beat a team 2 times, let alone 3 times. So do you feel like it gave you an advantage that you already saw them already and they may have not adjusted well to you guys?
Well, we knew their players and their tendencies, so that was, I think, an advantage to us. We knew what we had to do. We just came in and we executed tonight.
Yeah.
So what are you guys going to do to celebrate tonight?
We're going to Jed's. We're going to get some chicken wings.
Okay, all right. Thank you, ladies. Congratulations again, and I hope you have a great bus trip back, okay? All right, bye. Thank you. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Wallen, for that interview. And again, what an impressive performance by the Blissfield Royals tonight. They're going to move on into the regional round at 22-1. An incredible season is going to keep on going for this Cinderella story.
Exactly, and we will be right back. We're hoping to get a chance to talk to Erie-Mason's coach. If not, you'll at least get a chance to talk to Wallen as we wrap things up from Erie. You'll be back in just a little bit here. You're watching LSPN, your home for Lenawee Sports.
Okay, Simon, what do people wear?
Clothes.
That's right, so it's important to learn how to dress yourself. Here's how it's done. Shirt, underwear, pants, socks, shoes. Underwear, always first, name tag on the back. Then pants and shirt. Go ahead and put this on. Now with the shirt, you want to make sure the first button's right or you have to start all over again, okay? Socks left on left, right on right. Tying the shoes, we're going to take the laces, we're going to cross them over, we're going to turn around where the bunny goes down in the hole, pull it tight, and bunny ears. Got it?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
And welcome back to our post-game show. And Dan, a tough night for Erie-Mason. Unfortunately, just not able to make enough shots fall. Not really able to have much of a solution for Blissfield.
And again, it wasn't like they came out unprepared in the sense they've seen this team twice already this season. They had already seen them. And both times it was a 20-point loss. So you want to sit back and be like, what can we do to change that result for us? And they came out tonight and they didn't shoot the ball well. They had some open looks. They didn't shoot them well. They drove the baseline. They kicked it out. They missed a three. They drove the baseline in the second half, got some fouls. It started to look like they could turn things a little bit, but then they wouldn't make their drives. And it's a team that only shoots about 30% from the floor anyways, so that's been an issue for them all season, is shooting the ball. So it's something they want to work on in the offseason. Maybe how can we shoot the ball better? What can we do to put ourselves in better positions? And overall, they were a step behind Blissfield tonight. They didn't get there quick enough when it came to Blissfield's offensive ball movement that they had. And that's something Blissfield, I'm sure, wants to continue into the regionals, is keep moving the ball around and keep teams chasing them as opposed to waiting for them. And Erie-Mason tonight, Blissfield was waiting for them every time they moved the ball around, and they were chasing them every other opportunity that Blissfield had on offense.
Sometimes you just run into a situation where the other team is better than you.
And that's probably what happened tonight. I mean, as much as Erie-Mason can sit back and say, hey, good job on a good season, you made it to a district final, they won their first game in district, so they clearly know what they're doing out there. But at the same time, it's just things just didn't work out. And for the most part, it seems like the fans here were still having a good time. It seems like the players were into it, and they had a lot of heart and you saw the emotion coming out towards the end. And it's always tough to end a season, and it's even tougher to end the game when I don't know what's easier. Is it easier to end on a blowout or end on a close one? But either way, it's a tough end of the season for Erie-Mason.
We're going to take another break here. We'll be back in 2 minutes to wrap up tonight's basketball game with Wallen. You're watching the Michigan High School Basketball Tournament on LSPN, your home for Lenawee sports.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent? 1 in 260,000. The odds of this born racer having 157 career top 10 finishes in NASCAR? 1 in 125 billion. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I'm NASCAR driver Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Welcome back to Erie-Mason for one final segment tonight, and what a performance while in by the Blissfield Royals. Certainly a dominating performance from start to finish.
Yeah, they came out defensively with the trap defense. That's their bread and butter, and they executed. Got the turnovers, got down on the offensive end and made shots.
The most impressive thing, I think, for both of you guys, maybe this question is, the two leading scorers on this Blissfield team are sophomores. So that's certainly going to bode well for the future, but certainly scary for the opponents they're going to face here in the regionals now.
Absolutely, and I talked to Kelsey and Brooke, and they're young, you know, and they're excited, and they love the game of basketball. They're passionate about it, and they're going to be here for another 2 years, and I'm excited to see what they do.
And it's interesting when you see a team that's led by sophomores, they don't play like sophomores, so they don't act like them. But from the Erie-Mason side of things, what can you figure out? Well, what did you hear being behind the benches for part of that game that maybe we didn't get with their coaching staff, their players? What were they feeling?
Well, I think the problem was they've seen Blissfield twice already, and they knew what to expect. And then when you come in and you practice all week for a team like that, and you get out here and you're not executing the way you thought you would be, that's where you tend to run into problems. And that's what coach was telling them. When you're trying to, you know, get pushed past the trap, you gotta push past the trap passing instead of dribbling. And they couldn't get it, and unfortunately shots weren't falling for them either.
All right, and that'll be interesting to see if that trap can continue to be effective for Blissfield as they go into the regionals, and we're looking forward to them making a long run, at least to the quarterfinals. That's about as far as the MHSAA will let us go before they take over with more regional broadcasts, FS Detroit and stuff like that. But Blissfield looks like they're poised to make a deep run.
Yes, they are.
For Wallen Augustine and Dan Empson, my name is Dustin Kress, saying thank you for joining us this evening. The Blissfield win tonight over the Erie-Mason Eagles by a final score of 65-36.
Be sure to tune into our next game as March Magic rolls along in Michigan. LSPN is coming to Madison High School for the first round of the men's district tournament as the Madison Trojans take on the Clinton Redskins. This has been a presentation of LSPN, your home for Lenawee sports.